welcome everyone to Spiritism at Noon, promoted by the Spiritist Group of New York. And we are currently studying the book A Full Life, written by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis through the mediumship of Divaldo Franco. And we are in chapter 2. And again, this book brings in each chapter different subjects. So if you're joining us for the first time, it's not going to be a problem because this is a different subject. But we emphasize that if you can acquire the book or listen to the other lessons, you always can benefit from that. So we are studying chapter 2, and let me share the screen with you so we can accompany here. That Joanna de Angelis talks about the spiritual influences. And we covered the first part of this book, where basically she was, again, like many of us already know, that since we are immortal spirits and we are going to continue existing after our passing, we will continue existing with the same inclinations that we have today. Of course, the perspective will change, and with the perspective changing, we may adjust here and there, but they're not going to be, a huge difference in our moral personality, so to say, in our inclination, so to say. We can see that with the experience of people that are originally from one country, and then they have to move to a different country. And of course, this different country will have different laws, different habits, and food and all that, and we can adapt, right? But it doesn't mean that we are not going to miss what we had in our country, or that it's not still in our mind. And if it was possible, we would be having the best of the two worlds, right? So in this case, this is what is going to happen to us. We are going to be adapting to a new reality. Not that it's new to us because we have been there many times, but of course, each time we leave and arrive, we are different. We have amassed knowledge, experience, and we are going to be different. So having said that, it's already making clear that we continue, and we continue with our inclinations. There might be, or there is the possibility, and this is actually what happens, of the interchange between these two worlds, incarnates and discarnates, according to, what we think. Is the meeting of like minds. And today I thought that we should think as well, uh, why do the spirits talk to us about spiritual influences, obsessions, and that there are spirits that are going to continue attached to us due to our behaviors in relation to them in the past, but also of course due to our inclinations. If we are people with a certain inclination, let's say for music, and they may be next to us because they enjoy music as well. So it doesn't have to be a bad experience per se, okay? Many times we're just thinking about spirits that somehow are going to be harming us. No, sometimes it's just because they wanted to enjoy a peaceful ambience, atmosphere, and enjoying a session of painting or opera, or so many other things that we could be thinking about. But yeah, most of the times when we talk about it, we are talking about this spirits that are still earthbound and resist in moving on, and insist in continue with uh, their mind the way it is, and that's not going to work that well in the afterlife, so to say. So now, like I said, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm tired already of just listening about spirits that can come and influence our lives. Why do they insist in talking about it so much, about what seems to be their problems, not my problem? It's because they are trying to tell us here, listen, if you do not do what you have to do now, you will become one of them. Is this what you want for your future? To be a spirit that is so attached for one reason or another, attach it to things, attach it to emotions, attach it to hatred, that you are going to jeopardize your countless possibilities of having a better situation in the afterlife. So this could be us tomorrow. So if we don't care that much about their condition, the condition of our brothers and sisters that are lingering and wandering in the spiritual world, we should think about ourselves, because sooner than we think, we will be back there. And this is one of the avenues that I think we could be exploring today, because in a way she's not only talking to us about preventing this kind of association for the now, for the present life and present moment, but she's trying to say, if you cannot do it, chances are you soon are going to join their roles. It's going to be with you're going to be with them. Any comments or questions so far? So let's start reading from where we stopped. Do not be conflicted over past failures now that you are preparing to build the truth on the earth. Do not give in to self-punishment when something goes wrong during the implementation of the good. Persevere, because it is certainly not easy, but you will succeed if that is what we wish, your wish. Liberation from entrenched, pleasurable habits that squander your possibilities is a challenge for sincere souls. Whenever you find yourself besieged by sadness, regret, or inner upheaval over a failed attempt, elevate your mental state, persist, and get back in the fight with no fear. You will succeed. So she continues this message uh, because she's also addressing this message for those that somehow have been touched already by the concepts of life goes on, and the spirituality and the life of the spirits, and have already understood. And remember, understand doesn't mean that we are there yet, or that we are capable of doing what we know we should be doing. A very simple example for me. I wish I could play the piano or the violin, and I mean, yeah, I'm not doing anything about it. But I wish I could just go there and sit and play. It doesn't happen like this. It requires effort, it requires dedication, it requires studies, it requires practice all the time. And this is about the same when we are talking about our personality traits and thinking about the life and the will of the spirit. It's going to be the same, even if now we understand that there is a different path, and a path that is so much good and that really are going to lead us to know the truth, and the truth will set you free and bring joy. um it doesn't mean that it is easy for us to do that. And there is a catch. The catch is we are brothers and sisters when we consider that we are all created by God. And because of that, we do not exist only as an individual or in the individuality arena. So it is on purpose that those who have advanced a little in knowledge, in understanding, and some of them in practice already, they are going to be having relationships or being situated in places where there will be others that are not there yet. So, this is the situation here. We try to change ourselves. It's already a very big challenge, and we are constantly challenged by those that are around us. They are not there yet, and many times we may think, oh, what's the point? Maybe they are right, or we're never going to succeed because they are not cheering for you. On the contrary, they are saying, ah, with scorn, now you decided to be a good one, or we still remember everything, or all those things. And we see that because as far from perfection as we are, there is no way we are not going to fall here and there, to fail here and there. And this is when she says we may give ourselves to sadness, to regret, but she says, don't go there. Don't go in the zone where you feel pity for yourself. You will lose strength and time. So just stand up, shake the dust off, and move on, because you will succeed. Everyone that puts effort on something, they succeed. Any comments or questions? Yes, Sonia?
It's not easy at all. Because when we suppose, oh, I'm going in this way because I suppose it's good, then suddenly appear like a challenge in front of us. And for me, it's not easy to understand if I'm really tough with someone, it's good or not. Because when I feel this like shadow force come to me, then I feel I need to be more energetic in my decisions. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when I did this, the next point is to regret. Maybe I could be more kind in that situation, but in that time, then I really believe I need to be tough, not permit to the shadow cover me or advance on me. Then it's always very difficult for me to balance my behavior and when I feel in this kind of situation, when I feel the bad force come to me, bad influence.
Yeah. The being in this phase of change, it's always so challenging, I think, and um, it requires a lot of faith in what you are doing and what you already understand should be the way to go. And like I always say that I'm going to be repeating that over and over again because I don't know for you guys, but I do need to hear that all the time. That regardless of how many times we are going to fail, we should not be like, beating up ourselves, like she says here, self-punishing us, because it's the reality. The problem here is that we are not accepting the reality. It's very much like, a 5 years old, trying to behave like a 25, 30 years old. Say, no, I'm as adult as this person. I know as much as they do. You know, this is what we try to do instead of looking in the mirror and seeing that we are still a child, 5 years old, right? And and then we think because we see ourselves, like this adult, etc., or in terms of all the knowledge, spiritually speaking, and strength, and etc. Of course, when time comes for us to experience those the things that a 30 years old is going to experience, we are not going to be able to do it. And then we go and say, oh my God, I can't. Of course you can't. You're not there yet. But there are a lot of hurdles, obstacles, or challenges or that you have to conquer in this first phase. Like, if I'm playing video games, all the video games have the different levels, right? I may say, oh, I'm super good in video games just because I was playing, a video game level 0. Okay. And then it was so easy, right? I say, oh my God, I'm the king or queen of playing video games. And then you go to one more elaborate one. And you think, oh, I'm not even going to trouble myself in starting level 1, 2, or 3. I mean, I know that they do not allow you to do that, but let's say that it was possible. I'm going to start already in level 5. I mean, you can't. You will not succeed. You will dissolve in the first try. And even when you go to the first one, because it's already one that is more challenging than the one you were doing, probably is going to happen the same. So what we have to have is a true image of ourselves. And as always, having said that, it doesn't mean to say, oh, I'm not there yet, so I'm not even going to try. It's not for my level, no. That is pure excuse, okay? If it is there, it is in the context of your life and all of this, and those things have been brought to you, it is because you can. It's just going to require time, effort, perseverance, okay? So you have the message to overcome the pressing ideas and the precious treasure of your personal effort. Turn on the light of joy in the darkness of your mental space and count on your spirit mentors who love you and are involved with your spiritual process. You have the right to make mistakes, but should strive not to. Consider the fact, however, that your inner conflicts create a vibrational field that allows your mind to be hounded by other minds that detest you. And because they are insidious, subtle, and insatiable, they succeed in dominating you and creating the impression that your own will is the cause of these events, all the while inducing you to reject the help of both incarnate or discarnate friends, because ego in these moments become delusional. React and recompose yourself, dear soul, certain that your immortal nature will triumph. So, since we live in this world that is much more than our eyes can reach and see, and then we are talking about a world of spirits that surround us, that basically maybe in different dimensions occupy the same area that we do. It means that there is this exchange of ideas, and like we said, whether this is something, the association is something that comes from the past, or it is a new thing just because of inclinations that we present, these spirits are going to be attracted to us. And of course, the ones that either are connected to us because of, uh, past discordance or, history, not good one necessarily. And they will try to prevent us to succeed. And those that are against the cause that we have embraced, being the cause of not only changing ourselves, but really working hard to be example for others as well, then they will come to us, not with good intentions. And this is when Joanna de Angelis says that we have to be strong and not to be delusional. Like here, I'm not going to see myself like, the 30 years old when I'm just 5. And then what a 5-year old will do at this point when have to face difficult, difficult challenges. Run to their mom's arms, right? So here's what she says. Go to the spirits, allow the spirits and the incarnates that want to envelop you and protect you and help you to be able to do that. So prayers, listening to others, uh, talking about that so that we are not going to be deceived or deceived with those ideas that comes to our minds, or even get into a situation of dismay where we do not believe in ourselves anymore. Comments, questions? Okay, so even Jesus experienced the persecution of evil people influenced by the spirits that instigate tenacious spirit obsessions. In appearance, they were victorious in the afternoon of the crucifixion. Without it, however, his glorious resurrection would not have taken place, along with the perpetual message of love in the form of a powerful symphony by the victor, the one who was abandoned on the cross. Reclaim the land overtaken by weeds, go back and sow light so that it will transform into a stairway to victory. So let's just stop here, right? In this case, of course, Jesus was not subject to suffer spirit obsessions himself due to the level of everything that we have to do. And we are talking about here, moving changing our mental landscape, right? Our mental outlook, right? Uh, but he was subject to obsessors trying to reach him through others that were vulnerable to their thoughts and their craziness, right? And this is what happened here when they say in appearance they think that we killed the man, but the man never was never more alive than ever, right? Because it was then with the resurrection, with the contact or appearing and proving the immortality as it is today with all the knowledge that we have of the good news. So this is what she says. I mean, if we have to little by little be removing from the land what is not good, is one step after the next. So you are what you allow yourself to cultivate in your mind, especially in these terrible days when everything sides with pessimism, rebellion, and insecurity. Give your testimony by committing to your road to redemption and proceed joyfully, gathering the gathering the fearful match along the pathway. Consider your tomorrow filled with life, made possible by the action of the divine mind. Give yourselves over to this task and falter no more. We have to remember that this book was recently written. Let me check here. Just a second. What is the date uh, of the publication? I think 2020. Uh, um, uh, 2018. So it's really new. And so she's talking about our actual times, and I mean she describes it so well here because it is exactly what we are seeing, uh, this energy of that surrounds us, of pessimism, rebellion, insecurity, and boy, she was so right. Well, after the pandemic, it was even worse than that, right? uh, but this is how where we will meet the challenge, that we cannot go back. It's not that we are going to be oblivious to everything that is happening to the world uh, and trick ourselves in thinking that everything is wonderful. It is not. But everything will change if there are people that believe in themselves, become change makers, and help others to do the same. I mean, if we look a few centuries back and the situation that we lived, one would never think that in the 21st century we would already have so many advancements, even in terms of moral, in terms of respect to other, right? Respect to the planet, understanding the connection that we have with nature, all of that, right? People couldn't care less about it. Even ourselves, I mean, 30 something years ago, we would never imagine that we would be sitting now, each one in our own homes, talking to each other face to face, right? I mean, progress is there. There are a lot of people working for that in the different fields of life. The field we chose, maybe the hardest one, because it requires not only smartness, intelligence, but it requires, the moral change that we need to do. And in this way, kind of, impacting the lives of others so that they can do the same. And why this is important? Because we don't want to be a lost soul when we return to the spirit realm. One that can be manipulated, one that will continue having no hope, not understanding what is going on, or even worse, one that will join the groups that want to bring even more despair to people and to planet Earth. And now, not only we have the opportunity of doing this in our side of life, but all the changes that we do impacts the lives of the spirits around as well. So when Paul of Tarsus said, there is a cloud of witnesses surrounding us, it is because there are many, many spirits, good and not so good, observing us. And we may actually help them as well. So to finish, the perturbing night is softly illuminated by the dawn of blessings. Daybreak will soon arrive. Keep moving forward to enjoy the liberating luminosity. I am the light of the world, Jesus said. Be the light that emanates from him, and there will be no more darkness in your mind or in your heart. So, whether it seems so or not, uh, light is coming. So, it's up to us now to just keep going. Keep going. Um, Slowly but surely, it doesn't matter. Slowly but surely is good. If we can do more, good for us. If this is the pace that we can do, let's go in this direction. I guess when the Spirit Joanna de Angelis is, considering that she's such a scholar and in terms of the understanding of the mind, and I will say human psychology, but also spirit psychology. She knows. She knows the process that we have to go through, and that's why I think when we are studying her words, and of course always in tune with the codification and especially the teachings of Jesus, we see how much we have to transcend just the words. Like I said today, we are just thinking about poor them, there are spiritual obsessors, but she's giving here a wake-up call to us. I mean, if you don't do something, you're gonna be like one of them. Okay. Comments or questions?
And it's a lot of responsibility. Then to know our balance. can influence others as an example. And we need to have like a light around us to enlighten the others. It's so touch to know about things. And for me, I read things as a huge responsibility to be in this path in the right way, not only for me, but to have the ability for the others to influence others in this way. It's a huge responsibility. And thank you to be in this path and is our example always with these classes and letters and everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, that's what we chose to do, right? And every one of us in, you know, in our small circle of family, friends, acquaintances, uh, it is that we have to remember that we were called to be living testimonies of that those change, though, the realization of what we have to do is possible. And if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, aren't you the one that it's so full of knowledge and understand? How come you do that?" I say, "Yeah, I'm trying to be as best as I can, and I will continue doing it. But it doesn't mean that I don't mess up, right?" This is the thing. We cannot let them, put us down. And this is just by, like what's the word as it says here? Do not let your ego in this moment becomes delusional. Okay, let's not be delusional. Let's accept. Do you know that you are? Yeah, I know. I'm working on it, right? I'm working on it. It's always looking at the glass half full. People tend to look at the glass half empty, not only in their cases, but in other cases as well. Oh, you still don't do that. You still no. I have a totally different vision. Look how much I have accomplished, and you're saying nothing. Like this should never be how we see ourselves and see others. Um, I know it's just not easy to do it, but at least if we try, we are going to get there. Anyone else would like to say anything, give any kind of contribution? No? So we are going to end our meeting today. And thank you. And okay.